Now I think I'm streaming. I just was talking for like 15 minutes and not even streaming. Um, and what I was saying is that I hope whoever sees this will enjoy it. It's we're going to read from the Prophet by Kahlil Gibran, and this was the book that Elvis was reading when he died. Um, he lived from 1883 to 1931, and he, like some of the other philosophers, Nietzsche and or Nietzsche and Hume, some of the others, is a funnel that he funnels all his life experiences into. In the Prophet, which I think he's going to be the main character of the Prophet, as Nietzsche is the Superman and his stuff. The he takes Christianity and Islam and kind of takes a little bit of both from them to create his character. And you'll see that going through. It kind of reads like some of Nietzsche's stuff. And so without further ado, I'm going to get started with this. This is part one of the Prophet. It's the section is the coming of the ship, and we see at the beginning we have a ship. We have somebody that's is kind of waiting for something to happen, waiting for this ship to get here. And when it does, it's a surprise, but then he's surprised in other ways too. So let me begin at page 3. Al-Mustafa, the chosen and the beloved, who was a dawn unto his own day, had waited 12 years in the city of Orthopolis for his ship that was to return and bear him back to the isle of his birth. And in the 12th year, on the 7th day of Elul, the month of reaping, he climbed the hill without the city walls and looked seaward, and he beheld his ship coming in the mist. Then the gates of his heart were flung open, and his joy flew far over the sea, and he closed his eyes and prayed in the silences of his soul. But as he descended the hill, a sadness came upon him, and he thought in his heart, how shall I go in peace without sorrow? Nay, not without a wound in the spirit shall I leave the city. In other words, he enjoys being in the city. Long were the days of pain I have spent within the walls, and long were the nights of aloneness. And who can depart from his pain and his aloneness without regret? Too many fragments of the Spirit have I gathered in these streets, and too many are the children of my longing that walk naked among these hills, and I cannot withdraw from them without a burden and an ache. It is not a garment I cast off this day, but a skin I tear with my own hands. Nor is it a thought that I leave behind me, but a heart made sweet with hunger and with thirst. Yet I cannot tarry longer. The sea that calls all things unto her calls me, and I must embark. For to stay, though the hours burn in the night, is to freeze and crystallize and be bound in a mold. Fain would I take with me all that is here, but how shall I? A voice cannot carry the tongue, and the lips that gave it wings. Alone it must seek the ether. And alone and without his nest shall the eagle fly across the sun. Now when he reached the foot of the hill, he turned again towards the sea, and he saw his ship approaching the harbor, and upon her prow the mariners, the men of his own land. And his soul cried out to them, and he said, Sons of my ancient mother, you riders of the tide, how often have you sailed in my dreams, and now come in my awakening, which is my deeper dream. Ready I am to go, and with eagerness, and my eagerness with sails full set awaits the wind. Only another breath will I breathe in this still air, only another loving look cast backward, and then I shall stand among you, a seafarer among seafarers, and you vast sea, sleepless mother, who alone are peace and freedom to the river and the stream. Only another winding will this stream make, only another murmur in this glade. And then I shall come to you, a boundless drop into a boundless ocean. And as he walked, he saw from afar men and women leaving their fields and their vineyards and hastening toward the city gates. And he heard their voices calling his name and shouting from field to field, telling one another of the coming of his ship. And he said unto himself, Shall the day of parting be the day of gathering? And shall it be said that my eve was in the truth of my dawn? And what shall I give unto him who has left his plow in mid-furrow, or to him who has stopped the wheel of his winepress? Shall my heart become a tree heavy laden with fruit, that I may gather and give unto them? Shall my desires flow like a fountain, that I may fill their cups? Am I a harp that the hand of the mighty may touch me, or a flute that his breath may pass through me? A seeker of silences am I. And what treasure have I found in the silences, that I may dispense with confidence? If this is my day of harvest, in what fields have I sowed the seed? And in what unremembered seasons? If this be indeed the hour in which I shall lift up my lantern, it is not my flame that shall burn therein. Empty and dark shall I raise my lantern, and the guardian of night shall fill it with oil, and he shall light it also. These things he said in words, but much in his heart remained unsaid, for he himself could not speak his deeper secret. And then when he entered into the city, all the people came to meet him, and they were crying out to him as with one voice. And the elders of the city stood forth and said, Go not yet away from us. A noontide have you been in our twilight, and your youth has given us dreams to dream. No stranger are you among us, nor a guest, but our son and our dearly beloved. Suffer not yet our eyes to hunger for your face. And the priests and the priestesses said unto him, Let not the waves of the sea separate us now, and the years you've spent in our midst become a memory. You have walked among us as a spirit, and your shadow has been a light upon our faces. Much have we loved you, but speechless was our love, and with veils has it been veiled. Yet now it cries aloud unto you, and would stand revealed before you. And ever has it been that our love knows not its own depths until the hour of separation. And others came also and entreated him, but he answered them not. He only bent his head, and to those who stood near saw his tears falling upon his breast. And he and the people proceeded toward the great square before the temple. And there came out of the sanctuary a woman whose name was Almitra, and she was a seeress, And he looked upon her with exceeding tenderness, for it was she who had first sought and believed in him when he had been but a day in their city. And she hailed him, saying, Prophet of God, in quest of the uttermost, long have you searched the distances for your ship, and now your ship has come, and you must needs go. Deep is your longing for the land of your memories, and the dwelling place of your greater desires, and our love would not bind you, nor our needs hold you. Yet this we ask ere you leave us, that you speak to us and give us of your truth, and we will give it to our children, and they unto their children, and it shall not perish. In your aloneness have you watched with our days, and in your wakefulness you have listened to the weeping and the laughter of our sleep. Now therefore let it disclose us to ourselves, and tell us all what has been shown you of that which is between birth and death. And he answered, People of Orphalese, of what can I speak, save of that which is even now moving within your souls? Then said Almitra, Speak to us of love. And he raised his head and looked upon the people, and there fell a stillness upon them. And with a great voice he said, When love beckons you, follow him. Though his ways are hard and steep, when his wings enfold you, yield to him. Though the sword be hidden among his pinions, may wound you. When he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams, as the north wind lays waste the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Yet he, even as he ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he desire your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you free from your husks. He grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant. And then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. And all these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it's better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world, where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself, and takes not from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed. For love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you shall not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not you can direct the course of love. For love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love and must needs have desires, let these be your desires: to melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night; to know the pain of too much tenderness; to be wounded by your own understanding of love; and to bleed willingly and joyfully; to wake at dawn with a winged heart and give thanks for another day of loving; to rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy; to return home at eventide with gratitude; and then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart, and a song of praise upon your lips. Then Almitra spoke again and said, What of marriage, master? And he answered, saying, You were born together, and together you shall be forevermore. You shall be together when the white wings of death scatter your days. Aye, you shall be together even in the silent memory of God. But let there be spaces in your togetherness, and let the winds of the heaven dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Fill each other's cup, but drink not from one cup. Give one another of your bread, but eat not from the same loaf. Sing and dance together and be joyous, but let each one of you be alone. Even as the strings of a lute are alone, though they quiver with the same music. Give your hearts, but not into each other's keeping. For only the hand of life can contain your hearts. And stand together, yet not too near together. For the pillars of the temple stand apart, and the oak tree and the cypress grow not in each other's shadow. And a woman who held a babe against her bosom said, Speak to us of children. And he said, Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life's longing for itself. And though they are with you, yet they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you. For life does not go backward, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you with his might, that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable. Then said a rich man, Speak to us of giving. And he answered, You give but a little when you give of your possessions. It is when you give of yourself that you truly give. For what are your possessions but things that you keep and guard for fear that you may need them tomorrow? And tomorrow, what shall tomorrow bring to the overprudent dog burying bones in the trackless sand as he follows the pilgrims to the holy city? And what is the fear of need but need itself? Is not dread of thirst, when your well is full, the thirst that is unquenchable? There are those who give little of the much they have, and they give it for recognition, and their hidden desires makes their gift unwelcome. And there are those who have little and give it all. These are the believers in life and the bounty of life, and their coffer is never empty. There are those who give with joy, and that joy is their reward. And there are those who give with pain, and that pain is their baptism. And there are those who give and know not pain in giving, nor do they seek joy, nor give with mindfulness of virtue. They give as in yonder valley the myrtle breathes its fragrance unto space. Though the hands of such as these God speaks, through the hands of such as these God speaks, and from behind their eyes he smiles upon the earth. It is well that you give when asked, but it is better to give unasked through understanding. And to the open-handed, the search for one who shall receive is joy greater than giving. And is there aught you would withhold? All you shall have someday be given. Therefore give now, that the season of giving may be yours and not your inheritors. You often say, I would give, but only to the deserving. The trees in your orchard say not so, nor the flocks in your pasture. They give that they may live, for to withhold is to perish. Surely he who is worthy to receive his days and nights is worthy of all else from you. And he who has deserved to drink from the ocean of life deserves to fill his cup from your little stream. And what desert greater shall there be than that which lies in the courage and the confidence, nay, the charity of receiving? And who are you that men should rend their bosom and unveil their pride, that you may see their worth naked and their pride unabashed? See first that you yourself deserve to be a giver and an instrument of giving. For in truth it is life that gives unto life, while you who deem yourself a giver are but a witness. And you receivers, and all you are receivers, and you are all receivers, assume no weight of gratitude, lest you lay a yoke upon yourself and upon him who gives. Rather rise together with the giver on his gift as on wings. For to be overmindful of your debt is to doubt his generosity, who has the free-hearted earth for mother and God for father. And I think I'll end it there. I've been reading from The Prophet by Kahlil Gibran. And it's a very good book. It's sort of biblical in the way it looks at things, but not so judgmental, it seems like. And I want to thank you for joining with me, and I will post all my VODs on my YouTube channel, so if you missed something, you can check me out there. And I appreciate it very much. And I will talk to you later. Thank you.